Hi friends, it's Sarah, the owner and maker behind Multifarious Nature. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're a new viewer, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, big welcome back. I'm glad you guys are here for another episode. So, if you haven't checked out my latest video that I posted last week, I did, like I promised, post a tour of my yarn room if you're curious about kind of seeing a little more of the ins and outs of where my little creative space is here. And like if you see some of the things in the background, you're kind of like, gosh, I wonder what that is. If you watch that video, I kind of go into a little more detail about this room and some of my special little treasures that I have in here. So I really enjoyed making that, and it seems like a lot of you really enjoyed it too. So thank you so much for your viewing, and I really appreciate all of you. So I will get into, I'm not wearing any knits today. I am wearing a super fluffy, cozy sweatshirt. I am very comfy right now. I got home from work, went straight out and did some of the chores because it is dark. It is dark as dark can be. It is 6 p.m. Eastern time right now, and you can just see the very last tidbit of haze from the sunset. So I mean, you don't see the sun. It is dark out right now. You would almost think it's coming from someone's house. The light, it's that faint. But I am sipping on some nice cozy tea and this mug that's gonna be blasted out because of course I have to use a light because it's dark as can be out. I will let you read what it says. It is a really funny little mug. It is awesome. It's a huge mug. So I want to say this is probably around almost 16-ounce mug. It's huge. So I'd say it could be 12 ounces. I'm not sure. I'm not very good at just like looking at that and gauging, but it is a ball of yarn, if you can tell. And that's what the joke is. But it seems highly inappropriate, but it's not. Drinking some pomegranate tea. It's so good. So I hope you're sipping on something cozy if needed, or cool, depending on where you are at in the world. As far as shop update goes, I haven't done any dyeing lately, but we do have advents in the shop, so if you do want to snatch up an advent, you guys, it is almost time to open advents. We are, gosh, really approaching it quickly, so the first weekend of December is when we will be opening the first sock set of the Multifarious Nature Advent, so very excited about that, and that is approaching quickly. Not in a hurry to get there, but I am looking forward to it, and then I will also be able to break into my other advent that is my Christmas present the 1st of December. So very exciting. So we'll get into works in progress first, and I did work on a couple different knits, and you guys are going to be familiar with these because I've shown them pretty much in the last couple videos. So I'll go through them in no particular order here. I did work with some Nutiden again. It's just such a treat, so I'll talk about that shortly too. But I'm going to talk about one that I use my Multifarious Nature yarn in first, and that is my half and half triangles wrap by Pearl Soho. I am definitely mid-row, but let's see here. So here is where I was at last week. So I did not get a lot of knitting in. I mean, it's a decent amount, but doesn't seem like much, but that's where I was at. So a couple inches. The row was getting wider, so I'm at the point where I'm on my second triangle. First triangle was the Kismet colorway here, which is like a peachy colorway with some salmon speckles and brown speckles, and there's even some little touches of lavender speckles in there. It's a really beautiful color. And I do currently have a couple in the shop if you are looking to get some. This is on my alpaca base. I think I have at least one or two. I have just a couple skeins left currently dyed up on my alpaca merino nylon base. If you want to get this exact base, which is super drapey, you guys, and so soft. As long as you don't have issues with alpaca, it's very soft. It's super fine alpaca, so it's very, very soft. But if you do have sensitivity to alpaca, I don't know, I'm not sure, but how that will affect you. And then this is my BFL base, and this is my strawberry shortcake colorway, which is currently not dyed up in the shop, but if you do want some, let me know. I always like to do custom orders for people, especially if you want to make like a larger piece, a sweater or something, and you want to make sure everything's from one dye lot. They'll never be identical, but they'll at least be closer because they were in the same dye pot. But there we go. So strawberry shortcake, and we're just starting to knit that one up. I am doing that just when I don't know, when I feel like it. Today would definitely be one of those days. I think I was dealing with decision fatigue today. Very busy at work, and I started having a really hard time focusing and being able to, I don't know, it does not happen to me often, but I definitely think I had a case of decision fatigue because I was, the job I have, I get interrupted a lot throughout the day, and I was interrupted a ridiculous amount today because there was a lot going on at work, and then you have to go back to what you were doing, and if you're like, I don't know, composing an email, answering a question, you have to go back, reread the question, try to figure out what on earth you were answering, and it just, you're constantly, it's going back and forth a little too much, I think. So this is a perfect project for days like that. So if you have a job like that, or you're just an extremely busy person, or, you know, life is crazy, this is a really nice relaxing pattern. And you want to know what's even better? It's free. So this is that half and half triangles wrap. Designer is Pearl Soho, and it is free. I'm pretty sure it's on their website. I know it's on Ravelry. That's where I got it from. So I always include the Ravelry link because that's the most accessible that I use. I know you could definitely go on their website. Just put in, it's pearlsoho.com, and then I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And then in the search area, just search half and half triangles wrap, and it'll pop up. There's a couple different versions. The initial is the basic, which comes with a big and bigger size. I'm doing the bigger size, which, and here's the thing, so both sizes, you have to use 3 skeins of each color. So I figured, I'm like, well, if I'm going to make a shawl with 3 skeins of each color, I want to use as much of each skein as possible, so I'm going to go with the bigger size. And I like big, cozy shawls anyway. Also, as you can see, it's 2 triangles, so it's going to be a large square. So it's a blanket. So why not go with the really big one? Because then it'll be a nice lap blanket. I can use as a shawl and a blanket, which I have to say, if, I don't know, we don't go to a lot of like sports games and things like that, but any outdoor activity or something, if you wear your shawl, then you can take it off and wear it as a blanket and then throw it back on as a shawl. Perfect, right? One less thing to carry, you're wearing it. Genius, I know. Okay, so that's the my first one that I worked on quite a bit, and I'm using this, I don't show this often, I think I showed it in a past video. It's this really beautiful bowl. It's an antique bowl. I do not know exactly what it is. Some people collect this kind of thing. I don't know if it's considered, it escapes me, but I'm pretty sure it's from like the 50s or 40s or something along those lines. I'm not 100% on that, you guys, but I got it from an antique store. It's beautiful. It's a flower, and it's a bowl, and it's stunning. Very, very pretty, and I like to use that. It's not designed as a yarn bowl, but I love to use it as a yarn bowl when I'm working with projects like this that I could just plop next to me. This is only when I'm at home. I don't bring that with me. So that is half and half triangles wrap. Next one is my Birch pullover by Andrea Murray, and I am using my Old Mill Yarn wool. It's 100% merino. It's non-superwash. It's a nice, so you can kind of see, so this hooded sweatshirt that I'm wearing here is kind of it's a unique color. It's not exactly taupe. It's not exactly green. It's kind of between the both. I don't even know what color it is. So this is a gray, but it has that similar warmth to it. So it's a warm gray. I absolutely love it. It's a massive cone. I've got it behind me on my cone tree. Over yonder. I'm pointing to it. There we go. I show it in my video, in my tour video. So I've got my little tulip needle stoppers on there so I don't drop my stitches. And I am going down the sleeve here. I need to move a progress keeper because I keep forgetting progress keeper's over here. That's not where I was last week. So I need to move it over here so I can get a little bit more accurate with my progress. But as you can see, I am making some nice progress down the sleeve. This is my lunchtime knitting and just chucking away on it, making my way through it, enjoying it. Definitely enjoying it. This is a relaxing knit. It's a lot of fun. It's rhythmic. That type of stitch, it's called half fisherman's rib. And yeah, you just knit. And like, well, I'm not giving away too much. The half fisherman's rib, basically you like knit into the stitch below. There's videos on how to do that. Just look it up on YouTube. That's what I did. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's, I don't know if it's necessarily easier than brioche, but it's considered a tuck stitch, and I don't know. I find it to be quite relaxing and a lot of fun. So you might as well. So I say give it a shot if you have never done half fisherman's rib. This is an excellent pattern. I would say this is a great first time pattern for half fisherman's rib because it's, I mean, it does have raglan going on here, but it's not overly complicated. Increase and decreases. I can't give anything away because it is a paid for pattern, but I will let you guys know this is not overly complicated. You do just want to pay attention to your stitches so that way you're not, so your rows actually look like, you know, rows. Otherwise, if you mess up, they don't look like rows, and it's extremely obvious if you mess up, which is why anytime I messed up on this, I had to fix it because after all this work, I want to be able to wear it and not have this glaring mistake in front of my face. Just, yeah. So there you go. That's where I'm at so far. Super squishy. I will be honest, I have not tried this sweater on, which slightly is a weird, I don't know why I don't feel compelled to try it on. It's so strange to me, but I feel quite confident. I have knit Andrea Mowry's patterns before, so I just did her suggestions, and I don't know, I feel very confident that this is going to be okay. It's going to grow. It's it is half fisherman's rib, so she did say it's going to grow. It is merino. It's not superwash merino, but it is merino, and it's like drawing a blank here. When I knit, it usually is smaller. Once I block anything, it helps relax the stitches, and I know it's just going to grow. So I really feel quite confident that this is going to fit nicely. I feel like I'm trying to talk myself into it. I'm not. I know it will be fine. Oh yeah, here's my little, yeah, there's my progress keeper from like 2 weeks ago because I forgot to move it. Whoopsie. I will move it after I finish recording this. That way it will be accurate going forward. But definitely enjoying that knit. It has been a lot of fun. It has been my relaxed knitting during my lunch break. I would definitely say that is another good knit where you can just relax. I'd say out of all the 3 projects I'm going to talk about today, my most relaxing is definitely the half and half triangles wrap. I can see why so many people just go to that as their way to escape and relax, and I definitely understand that. It's just stockinette, or not even stockinette, it's garter stitch, so you're knitting both sides. So it's just knitting, 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 no purling. You do German short rows, which is very easy, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So I would say that if you're looking for something meditative, this time of year can get a little bit nutty, stressful, and emotional for a lot of people. The holidays can be a lot, so it's time to spend with family, and that can bring up all kinds of things. Obviously, you know, it's hard when you want to spend time with family, and if you've gone through a lot of loss in your life, that can be kind of a hard time of the year, you know. I don't I don't know if people really talk about that much, but anyway, I don't want to dwell on it. But I just, if you're someone like myself who's looking for something relaxing to escape and do, I definitely recommend that half and half triangles wrap. If you want to make a sweater, the Birch pullover, it is actually very relaxing to work on. So there you go. Go for it. And the last project that I worked on is, trying to do this delicately. If I break it, it's totally fine. It's Nutiden. It's pretty forgiving. I've broken this thing a bunch already, so if I do it again, it'll be totally fine. I know my lighting's probably going all over the place, you guys. I'm sorry. I don't edit videos. I don't edit videos. I just record them, and I want things to just be the way they are. And if the lighting comes in and out, it's gonna come in and out. And I just figure if you're someone who's knitting along with me, and like I like to do, so I usually like to knit and listen to podcasts, and of course I occasionally look up and watch because they might talk about a project or new yarn they found, and I want to see it, so I'll pop up and look, but I don't watch them all the way through. I listen to them all the way through. So I hope you don't have to be, but I'm hoping that maybe you're like doing a project while you're listening to this, so then maybe it won't bother you that the lighting's coming in and out and changing. You know, I don't have time. I take that back. I have time. I choose to do other things with that time, so I don't take the time to upload a video to a separate program, edit it, and then upload it to YouTube. It takes a lot of work to edit videos, and I am not there. I don't know how to do it very well either, so that just would add to the chaos. And nobody needs that. I don't need that stress in my life right now. I've got enough things that stress me out. I don't need editing videos to be one of them. Alright, so this is the Wildflower's Path by Melody Hoffman. It is using Nutiden and Old Mill yarn, held double, each held double. So the Old Mill yarn is this very thin, you can barely see. I would say this is considered like cobweb weight. There's alpaca in it. I think there's merino. It's like, I don't know, it's a bunch of different fibers together, but primarily alpaca merino. And then this, of course, is Nutiden, which is Swedish wool. And the color is Vagen. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's what it looks like to me. And I love the depth that the brown is giving. So I think this colorway on its own would be really beautiful, but holding it with that brown alpaca merino, this is what it looks like. This was also on a little cone, and it's so lightweight that very easy to break. So by holding it double, I figured that would strengthen that, and by holding it double, it would strengthen the Nutiden, and holding the Nutiden double also strengthens it. So I think this is just going to be nice and durable, because Nutiden, I have found, I've only worked with it one other time, other than in this project. And the first time I worked with it, I did it just Nutiden held double, and I have to say, it's a little delicate. Now, the body seems to be okay, but it's where the weight is hanging down the most, so my shoulders. I noticed that area, like the collar and shoulders of that sweater that I made, seems to have stretched. And I think it's fine. I think it'll be okay. But for wearability, that is just not good to me. I've worn it quite a bit, but not enough for that to be as stretched out as it is. It just seems excessive to me. So I'm hoping, because this pattern, the last sweater I made of this pattern is in Plutalopi, and I absolutely love it. I have worn it so much, and it still looks as good, if not better, than the day that I knit it. Like, it looks so good. So Plutalopi is extremely durable. It's Icelandic wool, very long staple length, and prickly. You know, there's prickle factor. I can deal with the prickle factor, but if you're a sensitive person to wool, I don't know if Plutalopi would be your thing. Nutiden is quite soft. It is a specialty wool. It is not easy to get here in the United States, and well, probably anywhere unless you are a patron, because they do releases, which I believe she has one coming up here actually. And you buy it in a certain quantity, and you're limited by how much you can buy at once, in one order, I should say. You can do multiple orders, but you're limited per order how much you can order. That makes sense. But yes, so not the easiest thing to come by, just saying, but it is, I would say, worth it as a treat. Like if it's, I don't know, your birthday or a holiday coming up of some kind, it is a really nice treat. I treated myself to it last year, and this is my second quantity of it, and then I have one more sweater's quantity of Nutiden. So I'm just kind of like just enjoying it and slowly knitting my way through it, and it is so wonderful. I would definitely buy Nutiden again as a treat at some point because it is really, really nice. But my goal this year is to try to focus, as I said in other videos, on the wool that I currently have, beautiful yarn that I currently have, and then of course working on samples with my hand-dyed yarn for Multifarious Nature, and really focusing on that this year and not trying to buy all kinds of wonderful wool. It's extremely tempting. It is hard, especially Nutiden, because she'll put her little teasers of the colorways coming out, and they're her one colorway, one of them coming out in this next launch. Oof, it's so beautiful. But I need to not pay attention to that fear of missing out. Like she will create another beautiful colorway that I will be able to get my hands on in the years to come, as long as she keeps creating it, which I don't foresee them stopping anytime soon. They have quite a nice following, and they seem to really enjoy it, so I would think they're going to keep doing it. So I'm not concerned about it, and I'm really grateful that I was able to get some so far. So I'm just enjoying it and slowly making my way through it. But this sweater, like I said, the first one I made, I've worn it so much, and I wanted to make another one because I absolutely love the fit of it. I love everything about that sweater. So this is going to be that exact same sweater, but with the brown. And then it's going to have flowers across, so there's embroidered flowers across the, underneath the yoke, is kind of across the chest region, and then it goes over your arms as well. And then technically it goes on the back as well. But I'm thinking I'm going to do, I don't know, I'm debating on this, because the first one I made, I used every single bit of that pullover. I used every single bit, and I ran out. Like I did not have enough to do flowers on the back of the sweater, embroidered flowers. So I'm thinking, and it worked out because then I could tell what the front and the back of the sweater is, which is so helpful, because with unspun yarn and most sweaters, unless you put a tag in the back, it's very hard to tell the back. There is some short row shaping in this, but it's very few rows. I think it's like just a couple rows. I don't want to give anything away. It's a pay for pattern, but there's just a couple rows of short row shaping. I am literally on my last row of the yoke, and then it is splitting for the sleeves and the body, which is awesome because I just feel like it goes so quickly. It's just stockinette from that point on, except for the ribbing at the bottom and the ribbing at, or so the hem and the cuffs. So very easy and so wonderfully relaxing. So definitely looking forward to when this one will be finished. I know it won't be a long time of knitting. It's just, it's a very easy knit, and I highly recommend Melody Hoffman's patterns. If you've never done any of her patterns, they are wonderful. They're very intuitive. I will say I don't necessarily recommend them as a first time knitter's pattern, just because I feel like a few of, I'm pretty sure a few of the techniques and stuff that she talks about in it, she like kind of just mentions it and then she assumes you understand how to do it. She explains certain things, but I just find, as someone who has knit for a little while now, if I was a first time knitter, I feel like it could get confusing. But if you have at least knit like one sweater, I definitely recommend Melody Hoffman's going forward, because she is just great patterns. She seems to be a wonderful individual. I love watching her videos. She does not put a lot of videos on YouTube. If you've never checked out Melody Hoffman's videos on it's the Bmandarines, definitely check them out. Oh my gosh, so relaxing, so inspiring, so creative. She's a knitwear designer, and she's out of France. So I can't remember the town that she's from, but just lovely, and she just had a baby, her second baby, so it's just it's so wonderful. So definitely highly recommend checking out her channel if you have not done so. And she does a lot with unspun yarn, so if you are someone who is intrigued by unspun yarn as I am, I'm intrigued by it, that's for sure, and I very much enjoy working with it. Definitely recommend checking out her channel. She works with other yarns, but she primarily likes to work with unspuns quite a bit. So there you have it. All right, so that is all of the works in progress that I've been working on. I have a couple projects, waiting in the wings that I'll eventually get to, and then I also have all kinds of shiny objects staring at me that I want to work on. I really want to work on that Angora hat with that beautiful wool that my husband's grandma, so my grandma who just passed away very recently, her sister actually gifted me some absolutely beautiful Angora, and I talked about it in a prior video. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm looking at it right now. It's in my chair over there, and I want to knit a hat out of it so badly. So I feel like I might cast that on soon, but I will. I mean, it's not one of those things where I try not to have too many projects on the needles at once, because I want to get them done. I don't like things lingering. Sometimes it stresses me out. There are certain projects, like if it's a blanket, like I have my crochet blanket up on the shelf staring at me, that's going to be a long term, it will just get done when it's done. I'm not in a hurry to get it done. So I know that one is going to take a while, no problem. But then there are others that are like shawls, things like that. I don't like seeing it sitting there, because I'm like, gosh, I need to work on it. And I have a pair of socks that I need to finish. And actually, I really want to break those out, you guys. Oh, I just moved you. Sorry about that. Goodness. I'm staring at this, so I'm going to pull it out, because why not? It's a work in progress. I just haven't worked on it in a while. Oh, this is the wrong project. Go figure. It's another sock project. So I still have to work on this one. So Andrea Mowry's the DRK Everyday Socks. This is my Come Thou Fount sock set. But I also need to break out, because I worked on it last winter and then I put it aside, and I need to get out my other sock set that I want to talk about. I should have talked about this in the shop update. I hope you're still with me if you're interested in that kind of stuff. But I have this sock set, which is my Oh Christmas Tree sock set. I do have it currently stocked in the shop. I wanted to let you guys know that. So if you're looking for a really fun gift, I have a couple sock sets in the shop right now. And if you're looking for a really nice gift for Christmas, that's why I wanted to talk about this, is I definitely recommend hopping over to the shop, because I think this would be excellent Christmas gift, especially for any knitters that like to make socks, or if they've never made socks, this would be a great way to start. It's a 100-gram skein, and this is that Oh Christmas Tree colorway. And it is that classic Christmas tree. I absolutely love it. I've got my greens, there's some teal in there, there's some blue and reds and yellow for like the little lights, twinkle lights. And I mean, I grew up with a Christmas tree that we decorated it with all different colored ornaments, and we used to use colored lights that have multiple colors as well as the white twinkle lights, and I just love it. This is what that is. And then of course we've got this bark colorway with it as well. So great contrast color. And they come with a sweet little bow on it. So I definitely recommend it if you're looking for a really fun gift, not only for others, but maybe for yourself. So there you have it. They are currently stocked in the shop if you want to get your hands on some. So there you go. And I think that's pretty much it. As far as like, I'm trying to think for a life update, we've got too much different stuff going on. We have a feisty little rooster. I don't know if I talked about our little rooster. Okay, he's a bantam. So if you're not familiar with bantams, which I wasn't until we got bantams, he's about so big. Here we go. Like if he's standing full height, he is, I'd say, as tall as my head maybe. And like so wide. They're little squatty little things, and they've got their big fluffy tail. So they're teeny tiny little chickens, and their eggs, like the actual bantam eggs, are teeny tiny. They're about 2 bantam eggs is like almost the equivalent of 1 chicken egg. So they're very tiny. And he is just a little pistol, and he's the cutest little thing. His name's Blaze. He's very pretty. But he and our really sweet dog Maverick, our mini Aussie, just get into a tuffle constantly. I don't know what his deal is. He's so tiny, and he just seems to want to pick a fight with the biggest, baddest dog in their property, which Maverick and Rory. Maverick is the sweetest dog. He has the best temperament ever. He loves everyone, and he's not aggressive by any means. But this little rooster likes to give him a hard time and charge him. And I kid you not, Maverick will be looking at him, like dead on staring down at him. Yes, definitely staring down, because this little bird is teeny tiny. And Blaze is looking up at him, and he's got a little chest all puffed up and his feathers all puffed, and he's just in his face, giving him a hard time. And I cannot believe it. I want to say he's like playing with him, but I don't think he is. I think he's actually trying to be territorial and protective of the other birds. But he's this little pipsqueak, and I just tell him every time, I'm like, Blaze, he will pummel you, because he is just this massive dog compared to him. I don't know. It entertains the daylights out of me. So, bantams. They weren't kidding when they said they were not. So in pecking order, they said that bantams are not the bottom of the pecking order, which I agree and disagree. I guess out of our chickens, I would say the bantams are at the bottom of the pecking order, because when I see them eat, I guess just by observing, they tend to watch the other chickens go for things first, and then they grab the scraps, like the bits and bobs after. So to me, that puts them at the bottom of the pecking order in our group. However, Blaze definitely seems to be the protector of the two. We have 2 ducks, because they were raised together. So the bantams and these 2 ducks were raised together. So they kind of protect, like Blaze feels he needs to protect these ducks and this one little chick. And it's really funny. It's the cutest thing. He's so feisty for being so little. But he's so feisty towards the dogs, but when I approach him, then he just runs. Like he doesn't want to deal with us. It's very entertaining. If you have land for chickens and the time to mess with them, they really are very, for the most part, pretty easy to take care of. The winter time, I would say that's the hardest time, because you have to possibly lug water to them and that kind of thing. And of course, cleaning out their bedding can be hard in the winter because it's so cold. But other than that, I would say chickens, they're a lot of fun. I mean, they're just very entertaining. Very entertaining. Ducks are dirty. Like if you're trying to look for a lower maintenance bird, chickens are the lower maintenance of the 2, because ducks are very, very dirty. They make it a mess. Out of all the animals that make a mess in that chicken coop, those 2 ducks make it a mess. We only have 2 ducks, and they can make a huge mess very quick. And they go through water like nobody's business. So there you have it. There's our little mini homestead info for you. Yeah, other than that, I mean, I went into the garden and spread some seeds yesterday. So I went through a lot of the plants that have dried. I went through and kind of like roughed up the seeds to get the seeds down so that they will come back next year. So I did that, and we have a rather large garden, so I kind of had to just saunter through, and that was rewarding work. It's not hard, it's just takes time. And yeah, I know the birds are gonna go after it. We have a lot of birds on the property other than the ones that we keep. But they are all laying eggs now. We know for certain they are all laying eggs. So both our ducks are now laying eggs. So we easily get, I think about 5 eggs a day, or 5 or 6 eggs a day. And yeah, 6 eggs a day. However, if our little bantam decides to lay an egg, which she was regularly laying there for a while, and then all of a sudden, nothing. But I did think about it. It's a lot colder now, and she's very tiny, so I'm sure she needs to conserve her energy to stay warm versus laying eggs. So that's usually why a lot of chickens tend to not lay as many eggs in the winter time. Where last winter, our chickens pretty much kept laying eggs, and I think it was because we did not have that harsh of a winter. We had a rough stint there for like a week, and then it wasn't that bad. So as long as it's not super freezing out, they keep laying. So we'll see how these birds are. They seem to be pretty hardy birds, so hopefully they'll keep laying as long as they are. I mean, right now we have an abundance of eggs, which is awesome. We will not starve. Like, if we need protein at all, we have eggs. So that is a great source of protein and healthy fat. So it's a good thing. I am not complaining. And yeah, I think that's about it right now. So what are you guys up to? I'd love to hear what you're knitting on. Have you picked up a new skill with knitting or crochet or spinning or weaving? I'd love to hear what your new skill is or new technique. Like for me, it was the half fisherman's rib and that birch sweater. So I'd love to hear if you picked up any new techniques, and if you have, what pattern you're knitting with it or making with it, because I'm always intrigued to learn about new patterns and yes, get sucked into the next thing I want to make. But I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you are creating, and I hope you are healthy, and I look forward to chatting with you soon. Take care. Bye.